Alright, got my brown rice going. Alright guys, I am back from VidCon and got back safely, back in Arizona. VidCon was a blast, total blast. So I've been spending all day today just going through footage and just lining everything up. It's going to be a little bit different this time around. I did not capture the sessions or the concerts like I did with Playlist Live. I just went around and enjoyed everything and just gathered what I could into the camera. So I took both photos and video, and I decided I'm just going to merge them all together. Everything is chronological, so we'll do this kind of like a video slideshow with video. So it should be a little bit different. Start off with day 0. And I'll tell you what though, day 0 actually began on the road at night. It was like 2:30 in the morning, actually more like 3. And as soon as I crossed the Arizona-California border, my tire went out. You can't see that, I guess. It's a bit too dark in here, but this is still my spare. And my tire completely shredded, but I got there just fine, and I enjoyed the day. I kind of wasted my money, I'll admit, because I missed a bunch, and I'm totally bummed about that. But you know, what made up for it is the fact that I just had a great time overall. It was a much better time than I even expected. So here we go. Hey, what's up guys? I'm actually at VidCon. The first person I met here is
Brian Fabian.
Brian Fabian from
Sons of the Brotherhood.
Sons of the Brotherhood.
Come help us out.
Go check him out, subscribe. They actually do get a lot of views, but that's all through Facebook, so I think he's coming to learn how to get more subscribers. We're gonna go check out some industry panels and catch you guys later. So because I had a flat tire, I arrived late and I missed the first session or two. So the first session I finally did see was the panel with these producers and what they thought about producing.
Alright, hi, good morning everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause for making all of that. How many of you, is this your first VidCon panel of 2012? First one. This is the first one? Alright, good. How many were you there at the 9 o'clock panel? Anyone? Okay, and how many of you, is this your first VidCon? Wow, how many are returning? Pretty big upgrade, huh? Pretty good. Yeah, really excited. Anybody get here last night? If you were out all at our party last night, raise your hand. What I wish I'd known. Producing. And we have some fantastic panelists. How many of you are actively producing right now on YouTube or online? How many of you are looking to get into it? Have no idea what's going on? Okay, so it's a good mix, right? Basically, we're going to talk about some of these veteran producers who've been in the industry of online video. Amanda Goodfried.
How do I not be aware? I was living in LA, and so I decided to go the Hollywood track. First, she said there was this growing community of bloggers on YouTube, and they were video bloggers. And there were these young kids just turning on their cameras and telling stories. And my husband and I jumped on it, and that ended up being Lonely Girl 15, which...
Who's heard of that? Who has not heard of Lonely Girl?
I was executive producer of Lonely Girl 15 for 3 years. Line producer, creative producer, bought food, scouted locations. I wore every hat there was. And now I'm actually at Disney Interactive, heading up the YouTube strategy for moms and family.
Hearing how these people started, it's very inspiring because it's very much like a one-person show where it's two friends and 2 people were married and tried something, right? Now that you're a super pro, is it very different, or are you still applying some of that scrappiness that you learned when you started out?
Oh, absolutely. We are still scrappy. I think the difference now is, I have access to a better lighting kit, 2 better cameras, and there are more hands on deck. But especially just for web video, I think the same principles still apply for storytellers, and we need to make engaging content. We used really good lighting by a window, and we used window light and a desk lamp to make the first Lonely Girl 15 video. And I think you can still do that and make great content. Same principles still apply.
Kim, you're up.
Oh, I am. Okay. Just really fast, good morning. My name is Kim Evey, and I am the executive producer of one of the premium YouTube channels called Geek and Sundry. And I got my start, those are our peeps. I got my start as an actor in Los Angeles, and I met my husband doing sketch comedy. I encouraged him to put some stuff that we had done on this thing called YouTube, and we ended up making a show for Sunny Crackle called Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Show. And then I met a woman named Felicia Day teaching a sketch comedy class, and she had an amazing script called The Guild. And that's, everybody says, why do you produce The Guild? And I produced The Guild because I was in the room when she showed me the script, and I said, well, let's put this online. And that's why. So if any of you think, like, maybe you're not qualified to be a producer, I'm not qualified to be a producer. I am now, but I wasn't then. So, you know, so I've been producing The Guild for 4 years, and now with Geek and Sundry, we have 6 new shows, and that's what the sizzle reel is. So I was like, let's put this Guild thing online. How hard could it be? It was a lot harder.
Was your character Kiko? Was that?
My character was Kiko, yeah. She had shown it to me. She had written a great TV pilot, and I said, well, I mean, to me it was the biggest no-brainer in the world. She's a really talented actress. She'd been on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She had an amazing script, and it was about people who, in 2007, were the ones who were already saying, I don't watch TV, I just get all my stuff on the internet. Like, you know, so these, you know, there were, at the time, it was 10 million strong, people who were playing, you know, MMOs, and now, obviously, that number has just exploded in the last 4 years, you know, with all of the different games that are out there. So, that's my husband. So Greg's channel is YouTube Mediocre Films, and
this is much harder than a video game. This is easy. This is a terrible way to move the boat. This is getting weird. This is a fire hazard. This right here is what I do in my office chair. This is literally the best thing I've ever done in my life.
We have a show too.
do more with less, which is what we do.
My name is Burnie, and I run a production company called Rooster Productions. Our flagship show is a long-running 10-year show called Red vs. Blue.
Great. How many years?
Put the first video online in 2002. For perspective, YouTube started in about 2006 when it really started to catch on.
Wait, so where did you put it?
And we put it on our servers. We don't really consider ourselves YouTube people. We do have a YouTube channel. We were kind of slow to adopt. Last year, we were the number 8 most watched YouTube channel, and we just hit 1.2 billion total views on YouTube. We don't really consider ourselves YouTube people. We do have a YouTube channel. We were kind of slow to adopt. Last year, we were the number 8 most watched YouTube channel, and we just hit 1.2 billion total views on YouTube. So,
Hey, since you're you ever wonder why we're here? What, like, metaphysically?
Aggressive tendencies leads to trauma. Ain't changing nothing. Kill the calm.
Cool. James Hafner. I produce SourceFed, created by Philip DeFranco. How did I get into this? By 2003, before YouTube, I was the guy who used to run around with like a handheld camera and maybe a microphone. I'm like, you guys need a web video. Like, do you want to increase your business? I will make a web video for you. Put it on, on your site, and you'll get advertisement. Wound up out here in LA. I've been working with Phil now for 2 years.
Welcome back to 20 minutes of less explosion!
The 2 minutes and 30 seconds it took you to eat up that hot pocket you're tweeting about.
We're in the office at like 6 a.m. researching. We will be shooting by 7, and then we'll have it all shot out, edited, and up by 9 o'clock. And then that's a vicious cycle of what we do throughout the day.
and you just glossed over a ton of stuff. We call it the vicious cycle. We talk about
Right.
produce and shoot it, we edit it, and then it goes up. You know, it's always a funny part of the process is that sometimes you don't realize when you get involved with this how much is involved with the process of creating these videos and putting them online. Just the process of going up is a whole pipeline you have to manage of like staring at progress bars until 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning sometimes. Well, I used to read blogs by you and Felicia, like today we're doing taxes, and you're like, LLD paperwork. And I can relate to that. It's not part of the story that many people tell.
Yeah, well, it's not the glamorous part, and I think, it's interesting because I think a lot of people do want to get into online video because they see it as like the dream job because you get to work from home, and it seems like all you do is shoot a video, put it up, and then you make millions of dollars, and it's like, It's really, it's really hard. There's a huge workflow, and I agree with you. I mean, right now, working for me is awful because my assistants are like, okay, so I'm here, what do I do? And I'm like, and I'm looking at my to-do list that literally has like 105 things on it, and I'm like, I don't know which one to give you. It's hard.
Yeah. It starts with the concept. We think about how, with all the technology, with all the different social networking sites, we think first about how is this going to be shareable? How can this be interactive? A chat room, whether it was on Ustream, and so we would fit that into our plot lines. Just because the field now is pretty saturated, so how do you stand out? What makes you different?
Now, because it is harder to break in, I guess, but because of the advent of Kickstarter and things like that, you can engage your audience from the beginning of your project, which is why the Guild, on some level was also successful because there was no Kickstarter back then, but we put a PayPal button on our website and we said, so Kickstarter is great because you can say like, here's one thing that we've done. If we hit this amount, before our campaign is over, we'll show you, we'll put another piece of video up there, or we'll show you behind the scenes, or so there's a whole, platform that you can build before you even start your project to help people feel invested in, what they're going to end up seeing.
And I would also say that leverage every single person you've ever met. Keep every card, remember every name. I really relied on my friends, my acquaintances, so that when my team, we had a week to go out to London to set up Cape Modern, I had an entire casting, 2 days set up of casting, I had writers interview, and that was all because I leveraged just these random people that I happened to know in my life that I kept in touch with. So it's just remembering everyone, being nice to everyone, be nice to the person you sit next to on a plane. You never know how they're going to be able to help you.
When you're using lighting, sound, crew on set, right? Always pay them and always make sure that they get their lunch break. Treat the people that work with you, your friends that you work with all the time, and your crew better than yourself.
Well, I think the technical thing when you're starting out is to, just say, well, just make money and we'll figure something out later. Don't do that. That'd be my recommendation. Have a plan in place. Likewise, when you're starting something, have some kind of understanding or some kind of plan that for how you're going to support the project going forward, so it doesn't get to, the fourth episode stop or run out of funding. There's, like Tim said, put up the PayPal button. The noise level that we were talking about is enormous now. There's a lot more sophisticated models for identifying talent now. So in ways it is harder to get started now, but at least there's more opportunities for established places you can go. Make something that you would want to watch. Make it something worthwhile or worth watching. We always make 6 of anything before we start it. You will never, ever, ever be able to predict what the episode is that suddenly catches fire. And even after it happens, you won't be able to explain why it was that episode that suddenly went viral and caught everyone's attention. There's no explanation for that. We try to make something that we would want to watch. And we have faith that there's enough people like us on the internet that hopefully they'll like it as well. And so that's always our bar. It's like, would I watch this? Was this something that I would enjoy? Building up social media in different places, and you really have to analyze what the value of that is. Like, what are you doing that services, ego versus business kind of thing?
If you put too much into, 5 different outlets, are you sending your audience all over the place, or do you want to invest in one destination?
Yeah, it can become your life.
Yeah.
When you started, did you have a business plan in place when you first got into online video? And is that, if not, is that a good idea now?
No, there was no business plan. There was no idea. It was, let's just do this. Over time, we realized once we quit our day jobs, we had to have a business plan.
Is it scary quitting your day job?
Yeah. My husband left his law firm, I left a talent agency, and we just lived on our credit cards for a couple years. It was awesome. I don't think that if we had thought about, we have to have a business plan, we have to have funding, we have to have this and that, I don't think we would have done it.
What I would say to somebody, if you're out there and you are if you have your passion project and you want to do it, don't quit your day job. Because everybody who's working in this industry as professionals, we are all still figuring it out on a day-to-day basis too. So there's no, there's no formula, there's no answer, there's no one way that you're going to do this. Let's just do this because we're passionate about it, or there were things that we were just doing anyway, and then it just happened to take off, and then slowly it does become apparent, like, here's this, okay, now we're gonna take the risk, or now we're gonna, quit our jobs.
There's no model, because there's always gonna be some kind of X factor that kind of things fell in place that no one's ever gonna be able to recreate. Even those people would be able to recreate if they did it again. And so if you follow someone else's model exactly, you're not gonna get that X factor. You're just not going to. However, I find that people tend to fail in exactly the same ways. They make the same mistakes again, so if you can identify the ways that people fail and then just don't do those things, you're way ahead of the game.
Do you have examples?
There's always an interest from television, like, oh, this is popular online, let's try to develop this new TV show. And then people would abandon their online audience to go into TV development. After that deal evaporates or just doesn't happen, as they often tend not to, then they're like, oh, let's go back to our online audience. And then they realize what they've lost in that process. And it's hard to recreate once it's gone, for sure. If YouTube's helping you cut through YouTube's noise, that's an enormous value there, really. I mean, a lot of those shows get lifted up, and they have potential to be enormous.
Specifically with the new channel design and the new homepage design, where now YouTube promotes certain channels and doesn't promote others.
Another thing to say here that's completely glossed over. If YouTube makes one change in the way that search happens or a related video happens, it affects everything you do.
Which they have, by the way. So.
The word TV in association with anything that has to do with life. I think they're totally different business models. I think if you look at the way, I really do think the rest of the world is running this direction, and I don't see why we have to apply that system to this one.
Which is a huge part of the YouTube deal, is that we still own our IP.
You're not necessarily creating a show that, say, is going to be on television or a show on YouTube. You're creating a brand. You're creating an entity.
I think a huge mistake that people make is if they do get even an online deal with a company, whether it's a studio or one of the bigger, like, you don't want to think, oh good, somebody else is going to do my work for me now, because that will kill you. Don't worry, because we'll do this social media for you and we'll make this happen. But if you give away your power promoting yourself, that you literally are giving away your power like that. We still all sink or swim, just depending on exactly how many man-hours we personally put in to all of this stuff. So you're never going to, in online video, at least right now, you're never going to get a point where you're like, I get to lay back and kick my feet up and, just tell people what I want to have done. It's not
doing more work now. If a project isn't working that you love, how do you let it go?
Don't stop. Whether it's just continue with that project or, take that advice and those lessons that you learned and then just put it into another.
So if you wanted to attract 45 plus audience, what would you do?
It takes a lot of research. What do they look for? You have to ask yourself, when a 45-year-old or older goes online, what are they looking for? Are they looking to be entertained, or are they looking for service content? Do they get their things through Twitter, Facebook, or maybe they get most of their information through email or their RSS feed? Think about what they're looking for and how they get it, and then go to those places and see what's most popular. I use so many different, search tools and, trending things. What's trending? What are the big things that are coming up in your demo, and what they're looking for, and tailor your content to that.
You basically identify someone who has that audience already and then show them your show. Blogs have been very undervalued but enormously powerful.
Making relationships with bloggers is like number one.
And the best thing is they always need content.
They always need, it's true. Every blog needs content every day. The Huffington Post needs content every single day.
I think that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
After some lunch, I headed back up to attend the next session. It was a comedy script writing workshop, focusing on the first page of a script. Of course, I don't actually write comedy, but I do play one on TV. By the way, I didn't realize that Angelina Jolie was a comedy writer. It was awesome meeting her. I'm just kidding, that's not Angelina Jolie.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to the first page comedy. This is kind of the yang to the yin of the non-comedy panel that was about an hour and a half ago this morning. I would like to introduce to you Annunziata Genzero. She and I co-founded the web series writers group for the IAW TV in New York City and have been running that monthly for 2 years. And we're now at like waitlist status, so it's really...
My name is Sunny Parikh, and I act in a show called The Guild, and I directed a show called The Legend of Neil. Both were web-based shows. And I have a new show coming out called Save the Supers, and you know, I think that this is a great workshop. I mean, I think it's a brilliant idea because in no other medium than the web, really, do you have to catch people's attention as quickly as you do. Maybe even goes beyond the first page, and it's like you got to get people's attention in the first, in the title of your show at this point to hook them. So this will be cool. I'm excited to kind of workshop these things. Oh my God, that was so good.
I'm Annunziata Ginzera, and as Sib says, I co-founded the IW TV Writers Group in New York, which is possibly part of the reason why I'm on this. We do a lot of script doctoring of writer scripts in our New York sessions. We read the first 10 pages and determine hooks and characters and all sorts of other stuff. I'm also an actress, and I worked on a few web series, and I have just created my own, which is premiering on TV Fest next week. It's called Battery Park.
My name is Jeannie Rochar, and I lost my voice 2 days ago, so I'm going to pull this close. But I'm only contagious to the first 20 rows, so I think it's fine. I'm the co-founder and festival director of the LA Comedy Shorts Film Festival. To brag a little, we were recently voted one of the top 10 festivals in the US by the Brooks Institute, and I think that's because, thank you, yay us! And I think it's because we're extremely niche, and it was a festival that was needed. We just had our 4th year. We're sponsored by Funny or Die, and we've been sponsored by Adam.com and The Onion and Fremantle's Atomic Wedgie. And what I'm really proud of is so far 11 filmmakers have gone on to have development deals from the festival, and a lot of them have gone and got representation and gotten screened on Comedy Central and other places. So we really tried to hook up the filmmakers, get them in the theater with the people that can do something for them, and hopefully take it for them to the next level. Also, I'm a writer, director, and actress. Last year I spent a lot of my year writing and directing for Disney Channel, which I got the job with my comedy partner, Gary Anthony Williams, from a video I did when I was 9 months pregnant, which makes no sense because it was really raunchy, and it should have kept me from working for the Disney Channel forever. So I understand a little bit of that side of it too.
Hey, so I was in Lauren Francesca was in a really popular web series that has way over 1 billion hits on YouTube. I'm in about 600-700 million of those hits, called Keep Awesome, Barely Political, and yeah, I've also been, because of that success on the internet, I've been in many videos for Funny or Die, Touch Me No, 2020, did a whole spotlight on us. It's been amazing. I guess I'm on this panel to show you, like, this is what online video can do to your life, you know, and I got an agent, I'm doing a pilot right now, did 4 movies last year, I had a comic book made based on me and my character, so it's really cool. I'll be going to San Diego Comic-Con, and yeah, I'm just, you know, consistently producing stuff that I act in. I produced a short last year that went to Cannes, and that was a lot of fun, and just meeting awesome people like you guys, and totally down to give any advice I can to help you guys do what you want to do.
So I need a guy who can step up. Any guy? You want to read?
Yeah.
Come on up. Come on up. Okay.
This is your big break, kids. Don't mess it up.
What's your name?
I'm Kyle.
Kyle, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle. He'll be better
It
than
all
Gary.
starts here. It was for motivation. No.
All right, save it for the page, kid. Here we go. Interior cab, night. The New Jersey Turnpike flashes by out the windows. In the back seat is Julia Johnson, 33, freaking out. Interior, another cab, night. Same New Jersey Turnpike view. In the back seat is Bobby Rothenberg.
Tell me what a sober companion does.
Is this a trick question? Because I'm really bad at them.
If your mother wasn't paying me to keep you, I would fire you. Higher power doesn't need any more bad reviews on Yelp.
Okay, now invoking executive privilege. Would you please read that again?
Oh, okay. Oh, do it differently this time. Interior cab, night.
You know, as an opening, there are a lot of different aspects to look at. There's scene, there's character, there's dialogue, and many other aspects, and, you know, spectacle. So for you, and I want to start with the panel here, you know, is this working as a hook? How is it working as a hook or not? what do you guys think? First page.
I like that it goes right to the accident, so we don't really, it doesn't leave us any time for imagination, that all of a sudden you want to know what happens.
Yeah, I think you're definitely wondering, okay, who these characters are and what they're about right away. And that there seems to be, anytime someone's keeling over because of too much cocaine from a teeny tiny spoon, I feel like you're wondering at least how it's worth another 20 seconds of watching the show, assuming that this is shot well and it sounds good.
Visually, I definitely like that the character is in a pig costume immediately, because I think that, especially if that's going to be our thumbnail, that's going to make me wonder what's going on there. So I think that's a great image to start with. I'm not sure about the title being something that's going to compel me to click on it, but
Right.
I definitely like the imagery in the beginning.
What do you guys think?
As a practical purpose, I don't understand why there has to be two cabs, when if you could put the sober companion in the cab with the guy in the pig costume, you could see the reaction and have them playing off each other until the cab pulls over, the pig falls out, and the sober companion is calling the higher power.
I might, since it's a comedy series, I might also look at the first scene, him in the pig suit, and see if there's even a couple more jokes that we can
Punch
get
up.
in there, like if he's going really down in a blaze of glory.
I think that's a great question. For continuous series, it's all about, I think it's all about characters, and like you need to get the audience to fall in love with these people, and that they be distinct. Like we talked about in one of these, where we're like, oh, we felt like the Shadow wasn't a distinct enough character. You need to feel like that they all have desires and wants, and that you can see how they're together, but also how they conflict. I think the Guild is a great example of Felicia pulling that off beautifully. Ultimately, if you fall in love with those characters in that first episode, which is what you're going for, then people will click to the next one for a serial. For one-offs, it's more about, obviously, like you need to get to the joke very quickly, and people need to understand, the context of your sketch or whatever it is, so that they can invest and laugh in whatever you're doing in that one scenario.
When I start creating a video, the first thing I think of is who's my audience for this video? Like, what am I doing first? And what I want to know is when you're creating a show, do you write something that's funny to you first, or do you think about who your audience wants to be and then develop from there, or do you write first?
I do the latter for me. It's more about like something that tickles my fancy. I mean, like for Legend of Neil, it was watching my roommate try to beat Zelda in 45 minutes, and then just cracking jokes the entire time. And I was like, God, what if you were sucked in here, and then what would the reality of bringing this world to life be? And so that was my motivation. Actually, after thinking that, I did go online and go, this seems so obvious. Is there any other Zelda parodies that are like this? And there were a few Zelda parodies, but they just weren't. I didn't think they were that well executed. And I was like, I can do better and make this funnier. And so that was, the thrust for me.
I mean, I think having that forethought is a good thing, because if you want to imagine and foresee it going somewhere, either doing really well on the internet or taking a life of its own, definitely if you go on to pitch that web series to TV or anything, you're gonna need to have a solid grasp of who the audience is and what their audience is. Generally, when we do stuff for ourselves, we do what we think is funny, but when we do stuff to pitch to network, then obviously that's very much knowing exactly who their audience is.
Don't undervalue quality, sound quality in particular. Nothing pisses me off more than a shitty sounding show. So just put your heart and soul into it, like it's something really serious, even though you're creating comedy. Treat it seriously.
I want to see something I haven't seen before. I've seen so many zombie films in the last couple of years. It better be a really new kind of zombie.
Editing is really, really important. It could change the whole entire timing of what you're doing. So when you're doing it, don't cheapen when you're supposed to edit it. Also be relatable. That's huge.
Those are great tips.
Oh, just speaking to editing real fast. Show it to people. Show it to other people that don't know anything about it. A lot. Before you decide to put it out in the world.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have these people I admire on this panel.
At the end, we tried to watch a screening of this guy's video, but there were technical issues with the projector, so everybody gathered around this laptop and watched it from there. So that was it for the Industry Day panels that I got to see. And outside, there was this cool vibe as people were just chilling out and enjoying themselves. To end the Industry Day, they had a big keynote presentation meetup in this big meeting room. I missed the first keynote, and this meeting room was cool, but it wasn't nearly as big as the stadium. I was already impressed, though.